Team, how are we doing? Congratulations for qualifying for the quarterfinals. There's a whole heap of you that are going to be going through with this, so I wanted to give a presentation that's going to run through all the common questions that people are asking me so that it's all in one space for you. So, also, I am experimenting with this presentation style. I thought the duck looked cute, and that's honestly just why we've gone with it. All right, where are we? I didn't realize this was animated when I made it either. Training schedule. We are currently, where I am anyway, on Wednesday. Most people have already spoken to me about this during the week already. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're fine to do your normal training as most people have. Presuming that you're going to hit the quarters on Friday, take Thursday as a rest day. Hit your quarterfinals Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you're doing them on Monday as well, that's fine. Go into Monday. But whatever day you finish, the day after needs to be a complete rest. This is the same as a comp weekend, and even if the workouts aren't particularly long or massively strenuous, which I think they are actually quite difficult, your CNS is going to be firing up, so you need at least one rest day following. If you want to take a couple of rest days, I'm so fine with that. Just put a little note at the bottom to shave your calluses. I did a couple practice workouts today, and I definitely, if I'd have done the full thing, would have torn my hands because I haven't done them in a while. You don't want to be leaving shaving your calluses until the day before because they're going to be sore. So pause this, go and do that, and then come back so that your hands are feeling good. There's a lot of potential within these workouts for you to get rips, and if you get a rip in one, it's going to really upset the others. Okay, nutrition. What should we be doing this week? I want you to treat this whole quarterfinals as a regular comp weekend. So I'm going to talk about what we should be doing today, 2 days out, what you should be doing tomorrow, 1 day out, and then what you can be doing during your actual comp days. I'm going to be fairly brief about this because you do have all of this information already in much more detail. But 2 days out, which is today, you should just be eating your normal diet. Protein should be high, 1.5 to 2.2 grams per kilo. Carbs, you should be eating before your training. Your training is normal 2 days out. You should be recovering after your training with carbs, focusing on good nutritious diet, whole foods, fiber, all of that stuff. Your calories, if you are in a deficit at the minute, put them into a maintenance or even into a surplus. If you're already in a small surplus, that's sweet, just leave them there. And now's a good time just to remember to drink water. Going into these workouts in a hydrated state is going to make a small difference, so we want to make sure that we are capitalizing on that. 1 day out, tomorrow, you can start your carb load. And like I said, I'm going to skim through this because already in your athlete vault, in the comp prep section, you have a very detailed analysis on what you should be doing for this carb load. If this is brand new to you, essentially you're just going to eat more carbs than normal. Don't get too hung up with the trying to actually weigh things out. But if you are tracking your food or you do understand grams and food a little bit better, it's 6 to 10 grams of carbs per kilo of body weight. This needs to be easily digested foods. This is the time where you eat all those junk foods and you don't feel one little ounce of guilt. Get rid of all the fiber, no need for veggies, no need for fruits, no need for whole grains. That is not what you need tomorrow. Tomorrow we need the cereals, the breads, the pastas, the chocolate, the ice cream, the donuts. That's what we're eating tomorrow. And again, ensure you're drinking. Okay, comp days. Breakfast, I would just do your normal diet. You don't want to wake up and do something crazy that you've never done before and risk having an icky stomach. If you can avoid something that's really high fiber, then that's good. But the emphasis more so is just do what you know your body can cope with, and it's not going to make you feel ill. Pre-workout should be the same as any other day. You should be having around 50 grams of carbs. Sometimes athletes have about 30 grams, so just increase that a little bit. And if you're used to having caffeine before you do these workouts, have caffeine. Between workouts, again, same thing that you would do on your comp days, which is all in much more detail in that other video. We want easily tolerated high carb snacks. We don't want big meals where we're going to be feeling stodgy and heavy, but high calorie, dense in calories but not dense in size is going to be good for you. Dinner, just eat your normal dinner. Have your colour, have your protein, have your carbs. There's no need to go home and start eating a tray of donuts. Okay, let's talk about actual strategies for the workouts. I would advise do the workouts in order with the exception of the deadlifts. I'd swap the last two over, so do the deadlifts last. So workout number 1, I do suggest doing this first. This is where we have 10 shoulder runs, 20 overhead squats, 30 burpees over the bar. Then you get a rest minute, which is wonderful. And we do the order and repeat. 30 burpees, 20 overhead squats, 10 shuffle runs. I've got a couple of different options depending on what your limiter is. If your fitness is a limiter, so the open workout 1 and open workout 3 were a nightmare for you, you're going to be with me doing this strategy where we want to control the burpee pace, step in, little jump over, step down, keep your heart rate low, keep it steady, stay on track. The runs, you're just jogging them. We're absolutely not sprinting the runs until you get to the end. But if your fitness is a limiter but not strength, you're going to go unbroken on the overhead squats. It's annoying to get the bar up and down. Breaking these up, I think, sometimes jacks your heart rate more. So if that's an okay weight for you, you're going to go unbroken on it and just be steady around that. When you get into the second round, those 30 burpees over the bar is where this is going to be won or lost for you if your fitness is a problem. You have to stay vigilant and just push the head noise out. Stay on your track, step in, jump over, step in, jump over, and just keep going. Once you finish those 30 burpees, you are literally nearly done. Do not wait to pick up the bar. No matter how you're feeling, just pick the bar up and go for an unbroken set of 20. You will be able to do it. And after that, you've just got the runs left. That second part is all just going to be controlling head noise. The workout isn't actually that long. It's much easier than the open workouts where you just have to keep going and going and going, so you can get through it. Just to trust yourself. I'm saying this also for myself. Other scenario here, if your overhead squat is a limiter and that is a heavy bar, 20 seems like a lot of reps, you definitely are thinking, I could not do that unbroken. We need to control the movement that comes in before it. So in the first round, those runs, again, you're going to jog them. Please do not sprint out the gates. Break the overhead squats into 2 or 3 sets, or maybe even 4, depending on how difficult that bar is for you. And then in your second round, we need to control the burpees going into it. Same kind of thing, wherever the limiter is in any workout, you need to make sure that when you get to the limiter, you're feeling good. So whatever that needs to happen prior to that, you will do. Once you've gone through the overhead squats, then you're just going to sprint those runs to finish. Final thoughts, it's actually over quite quickly. It's not as bad as the open workouts. I have tested this one and I really think it is not that bad. It's over quickly and there actually is an end in sight, unlike those AMRAPs that went on forever and ever. Okie dokie, workout number 2. This one I think is the most interesting because there's so many different ways that you can attack it, especially as they've given you free rein to do whatever the hell you want. For most of us, bar muscle ups are going to be the limiter, which means you need to focus on doing the squat cleans because there's 80 reps available there and there's 40 reps for the bar muscle ups. If bar muscle ups are a limiter for you, there's a good chance you're not going to finish the workout, which is completely fine. 40 is a lot. However, you can definitely finish the hang squat cleans, and then we need to maximize a strategy where we can get as many muscle ups as possible. If you are in a scenario right now where you can do under 5 muscle ups, this is a strategy that I would be doing. In that scenario, if you're under 5 muscle upper, then bar muscle ups are your limiter. I would love you to start an EMOM timer. Begin each minute with a one lovely clean 1 bar muscle up that feels easy and light. Hop down off the bar, pick up your dumbbells, do 4 cleans, take a rest, do 4 cleans, giving yourself enough rest at the end of the minute. Like, we don't want to take a 30-second or 20-second rest. It's 4 cleans, 5 seconds, 4 cleans. We're pretty much just doing an 8 rep set with a little break in the middle. By the time you finish 10 minutes, all your dumbbells are going to be done. They can go away. You'd have done 10 muscle ups, which is a really good place to be, and you still have 5 minutes left on the clock just to tick away in singles. By breaking up those cleans into 4 and 4, you're going to save a lot of fatigue in your arms, which is very important, which means the 10 muscle ups that you've done should all hit, fingers crossed, and you're still going to have some room in the tank to keep going. If bar muscle ups are a really new skill or they are a struggle, there might become a point within that 10-minute EMOM where you do a bar muscle up and you fail a rep. That's okay, just leave them and come back to them after the EMOM is done. The priority is getting the dumbbells done, and then any bar muscle ups for you are going to be a bonus. Second scenario here, if grip is the limiter, so this is for someone like myself, like Jane, if you're, not me, the other Jane, if you're listening to this. For people who can do bar muscle ups and they can do hand squat cleans, there's still a lot of reps here and it becomes a very heart rate type workout. We need to keep your overall fatigue low. I would be figuring out a timer that you can do consistently until all the reps are done. I tested a go every 30 seconds with 2 bar muscle ups and 4 cleans, and I had about 8 seconds or 10 seconds left before I had to go again. I did 2 rounds of that. I was like, there's absolutely no way I can do it. I think I've been quite generous to suggest a 40-second timer, as in I think that is going to end up being a 45-second or a 50-second timer. If you want to complete the workout with this rep schemes, 45 seconds is the slowest that you could go and get this in on the time. So just bear that in mind. But the point of that is to find a timer that works for you. So if you haven't already tested this, I would give that a test. Final thoughts are you can clean from the floor for rep 1. You don't have to stand up and do a swing into your rep. And that is a really good reason for why you shouldn't be doing no more than 4 cleans in one go. Do 4, take a rest, do 4. Okay, next workout 3. This one I actually suggest that you do last, but I'm going to keep it in order as what they've been given. This is our double under deadlift workout. For many of us, double unders are going to be the limiter here. This is a double under workout. There is 6 sets of 50. That is a huge volume. If double unders are a limiter, but you reckon you can just muscle through 50 in round 1, do not do it, because the fatigue is going to set in mentally and physically over the time of this. I'll be working on sets of 10 that you can control. You can take a short rest and you can keep your heart rate low. You're going to be on the rope for the majority of this workout, so you can't get yourself into a situation where you're massively frustrated. If you have a couple of trips in the first round, you don't need to restart and throw everything out the pram. It's like, I'll just go again. You just really need to commit to trying getting into a rhythm and getting through this. None of us are going to the games. Your score at the end of the day doesn't matter. Just use this as good practice for keeping yourself mentally controlled and keeping on the rope. If you do get stuck there and you find you're doing a set of 10 or maybe less and you are tripping a lot and you feel like you've wasted a lot of time, then you can pull it back in the deadlifts. Like, get back some time there and then get back onto the rope. If you're happy with deadlifts, you're happy with double unders, and the limiter here is going to be the fitness side of things, or if it is going to be the deadlift weight, this is a scenario for myself. I tried to do 50 dubs and then singles on the bar, but my heart rate got way too high. So I'm going to split the double unders into 2 sets that I'm comfortable with, take a 10-second rest in the middle so I can keep pace for the whole workout. I would say, unless you're doing a hero set of unbroken deadlifts to try and catch up time, if you're in this top bracket here, single reps on the bar is going to be the way to go for most people in this workout. You save so much leg fatigue by picking the bar up, hitting the top of the rep, which is done, and then just letting the bar go. Because you're dropping the bar from hip height, it doesn't tend to bounce around too much, so you're not going to be chasing it around. You can literally just bend down, get your grip, and pick it and pick up. It's a very quick way to do deadlifts that uses so much less fatigue, and it is allowed. So I would 100% be doing singles the whole way through this workout. Final thoughts, make sure you have 3 bars set up to use, and or you've got a helper to change the plates. Try and do not do this on your own. Make sure you do the workout last, and I would be wearing a belt for this. Alrighty, Roo, final workout that I suggest that you do third. We have our row, clean and jerk, row, handstand push-ups. For, I think, every single person doing this, the handstand push-ups is going to be where people are starting to panic or get stuck. However, that being said, the rest of this workout doesn't really affect them too much. Like, they're a bit of a random thing to have at the end. So I kind of want you to treat this as 2 separate workouts. You've got your row, clean and jerk. Row is workout 1, and we've got a strategy to get through that. And then we've got a strategy to get through your strict handstand push-ups. What you do in the first 3 sections isn't going to massively affect the end. I'll explain. First row, we need to be thinking about the clean and jerk. So you're going to set this at about a 7 out of 10 pace. We're comfortable, we're at a pace we normally do our row workouts at. We're not relaxing, but we're also not in a state of panic. You'll know what that number is for you. This set of 30 clean and jerks is really where the workout is lost or can be lost. You need to be able to keep consistent singles going the whole way through. So adjust your first row pace to meet that brief. you can spend and waste a lot of time by resting in between reps in these clean and jerks. So we really need to try and be as consistent as possible for whatever strength you personally have at this movement. When you finish the clean and jerks and you get back onto the row, there's a good chance your legs are going to be feeling horrible. Mine definitely were, especially if you're going at a decent pace in the clean and jerks. I want you to set this at an RP of 8 out of 10. I thought that was going to be quicker than the row one, but it wasn't. It was about 10 seconds slower, but my RP was still at the 8. The reason it's okay to push the second row a little bit more is that the fatigue you have from the clean and jerks and the row doesn't really play too much of a role in the strict handstand push-up. So you don't need to get onto that second row and try and bring everything back down. You can still push it, and when you get to your strict handstand push-ups, this is almost like a separate workout. As long as you don't get that absolutely fucked, you're going to be okay. Bit of a rogue suggestion from me. However, I find with strict handstand push-ups more than any other movement, it is actually better just to rip a big set off the go. For some reason, and I don't think this is just me because I've heard this from a lot of people, that kicking up and doing 1 or 2 when you have the capacity to do 6 or 7, and then kicking up, you still end up fatigue after the same amount of fatigue after how many sets you've done. So I'm going to kick up and just do as many as I can, but stopping before the reps get really grindy. So I'm hoping to get about 10 in, which to be honest, I've never done more than 10 anyway, but I know I can do 10. Kick down, take a bit of time, kick back up, I'll probably be then on 5. Kick down, kick back up, I'll probably then be on 4, and then just tick away in small sets until I get to the end. You just want to really try and avoid a point where you're grinding, because as soon as you get to that stage, then you're going to need a 60-second rest. For some of you, a strict handstand push-up, even getting 1 is going to be a PB and amazing, and you're just going to try your best to do as many singles as you can and just go for it. And your reps probably will be grindy, and that's so fine. That is amazing if you can get your first strict handstand push-up in this workout. Final thoughts here. If you get to the bottom of your strict handstand push-up and you let your head sink into the mat and create an imprint and kind of stop the movement there, it is so difficult to get out. You, not at the expense of your neck, need to be treating this as a down and push. You really just need to make a little tap with your head and change the direction straight away. It's a bit like when you're doing a strict press. If you wait at your shoulders and create a dead stop, it's so much harder to push back up than if you do these ones where you go straight away and you kind of load the spring and go straight away. So if this is a difficult movement for you, the timing of your strict handstand push-up is going to be really important. So just think about that as you're doing it. Alrighty, what is next? Just some final thoughts on recovery. If you're hitting multiple workouts in one day, which many of us will be, try and have a rest between them if you can. I know I'm speaking of people who are probably trying to do all 4 workouts in 2 hours because they've got better things to be doing with their weekend. And look, do what you need to do, but if you can split them up as if it was a comp day where you would have a rest between them, that is brilliant. Once you've finished your workout, you've got another one coming, so don't lie on the floor. Get onto a bike or a ski erg or a rower and just flush out whatever's happened in that workout. It's the best thing you can do for 5 minutes afterwards, and then you can lie on the floor. Make sure you're eating and drinking between your workouts. You can have things like chocolate milk, electrolyte, sweet, cereal, whatever you would normally do on a comp day. It's going to be great, and you need to make sure you warm up properly for every workout. Just because you did a hard workout half an hour ago doesn't mean you're ready to go for the next one. You need to get the movements primed, you need to get blood flowing, and you need to spike your heart rate before you go for every single one. Alright, that is all. I think I have everything covered. Best of luck for everybody who's doing this. Please remember that your life does not depend on these workouts, and what you get at the end of the day actually does not matter. Do your best. Enjoy it. If you have any questions specifically about how to attack them, then do let me know on WhatsApp and I will get back to you ASAP Rocky.